It's time for Pet Entertainment Television. I'm Dennis Rosiak.
And I'm Mandy Maxwell.
And you probably can't see our friend here.
He's too low to the ground.
And that actually is a good thing for him because he's a Basset.
Yes, yeah. And his name is Garth, and he is about 4 years old. And I think it's hilarious that we named him Garth because let me tell you, he's quite the singer. We just heard a little bit of that a minute ago. We had some people, we're at Dog Days, of course, and we had some people walk in that were dropping off their dogs. And as soon as he saw those dogs, oh my goodness, did he start to sing or what? So I think Garth is appropriate.
I think you're right.
So I kind of like it. And he was a stray. So obviously he doesn't know that name. That's the name we've given him. But yeah, just, you know, wandering around and somebody found him and thankfully brought him into us. And he has just, he's a great dog. Of course, we temperament test all of the dogs, or not the cats, I'm sorry, all of the dogs before they go out on the adoption floor. And he passed with flying colors. I mean, he's been taking treats just so gently this morning, and he does great with his food dish.
Cool.
He doesn't know a whole lot of commands or anything, so he would still benefit, you know, from some training. But he could really go home with anybody.
Yeah.
Pretty laid-back kind of guy.
And, you know, it's kind of interesting because Dog Fancy magazine this month had a little bit of information on the Bassets, and I was surprised because they were actually called the poor man's hunting dog because people that couldn't afford horses, these guys have short legs, so in turn they don't run real fast or whatever, but the humans can, you know, follow behind them. So they would flush out the game, and then the hunters, of course, would get the game. So.
And they could keep up with their little short legs and
That's right.
their slower movements, I guess. So.
Yeah. I think, you know, if you're looking at a dog like this, too, that, you know, you just should be, you know that you're going to have to groom a little bit, you know, and there's short hair, so it's not a lot. But there's a little bit of that voice. The other thing is the ears, to make sure that on the ears that they're taken care of because of the long ears that you're going to have to clean them and stuff.
Right. That's what I was thinking, too. And also just when they're eating and drinking, those ears get dipped into everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When their nose is to the ground and they're sniffing everything, usually they get all kinds of good stuff on those ears. So but then, minimal.
Yeah, and then the other thing to watch for on these dogs is just that when they're on, you know, jumping from something that this is a lot of back that they have.
Yeah, it's a long body. So yeah, and definitely for them not to be overweight because that's so hard on those short little legs and their back as well. So
yeah, so this guy's definitely energetic. You know, we've had a number of Bassets, you know, which is very unusual in the shelter, but he's very energetic.
He is quite the energetic guy. I will say when I got him out of the van, he wanted to run around the building. So not saying he could run a marathon with you, but you know, he's definitely an active guy that's going to need his exercise. So
exactly.
Oh, buddy.
And how old are we estimating?
He's about 4.
About 4 years old. Okay.
Great age.
Yeah, he's a great age. So, you know, so be sure to stop up and see him. You know, today we're going to talk a little bit also about water and how important water is for these dogs too.
So stay tuned. We'll be back.
Please take me to Dog Days. Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web, please.
Well, we're back, and we got a special guest here, Mandy, and we've got...
This is Cammie.
Cammie.
And she, like you were saying, she's special. She is just a little scared. You know, she came in as a stray, so... like we always talk about, you never know what they've been through.
Exactly.
Who knows what kind of family life she's had, and then they end up at the shelter where it's stressful and there's barking dogs all around and people everywhere, and we're doing this temperament test, and there's, you know, you just never know what's going through their minds. So, but what a sweet girl. I feel like she's one of those dogs, like you just look at her face and you can just see like right straight to her soul. You know what I mean?
You know her eyes, when you look at her eyes, like we talked about how soft eyes.
Yes.
You know, she has soft eyes and definitely is, I think, going to be a great dog for somebody.
Absolutely.
And you know, she's going to take a little bit just to warm up, but when she comes out of her shell, she will be a fantastic
Yes, yes, exactly. And she did, we were talking about the temperament test, and she
Yeah.
did really well in her temperament test too. So, for her to be scared and do so well on that test really speaks highly for her. So, and of course, she is American Staffordshire Terrier, pit bull mix, if you will.
Yeah.
But what a sweet, sweet girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I
and
do.
she's going to find a great home, and she's in good shape and everything, and I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're surprised that somebody hasn't come and looked for her at this particular point, but but she wanted us to talk a little bit about water today and how important water is for these dogs.
It's something that you just every day you just give them water, but you probably don't even think about where it's coming from or what kind of water it is.
Exactly. And what triggered me on this was Dog Fancy had an article on water and basically how important water is. And it's for us. We say we are what we eat, but
Right.
we're also what we drink too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And so a lot of the water supplies today have some issues where you do have, some toxicity in the water, so you have to be real careful, and that can affect your pets also.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just like anything else that they put into their systems.
Yes.
Everything affects it. So.
And, they're about, their system is about 70% water. So, what we do at home actually is we use filtered water, and filtered water, if you can do that, that's a good way to go. And versus bottled water, because bottled water obviously very expensive, but filtering
Right.
it is a lot more economical and does get rid of those toxins out of the water.
Right. I know that's what we do with our dogs at home too. Is I get it from our refrigerator because it's got the filter in the refrigerator.
Right.
So I try to always give them that water, but yeah, you just it's one of those things that you just kind of take for granted and you really don't think about. We were at an event Saturday and we needed to fill up the dog's water dish, and the place that we were at, one of the volunteers went to go get water and he was like, "Mandy, I am not giving the dogs that water. It was disgusting." So we ended up using bottled water that day. So, just something to think about because, like you said, it can be very toxic to them.
Yes.
And even, I know we've talked about like swimming and kind of being careful like what ponds in the area that the dogs swim in or what creeks
Exactly.
because there can be toxic things in the ponds. So even things like that, because as I know, as one of my dogs swims, he can't help but take the water in and
Yeah.
drink it or, things like that when he's catching his Frisbee and swimming. So those are all things to consider, just with water.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that, watching them that they're drinking enough water, because they should have, they're recommending by the experts that for every pound that they weigh, they should be 1 ounce of water that they drink in a daily period of time. So
Which makes sense.
50 pounds, 50 ounces. And
Right.
it's no different than for, for us. We have to drink a lot of water also because we're made up of mostly water.
Right, exactly. We got to stay hydrated. And that was one of the interesting facts that you were talking about in the notes or in the magazine that was saying if you are having a hard time with your dog or cat, I'm sure for that matter, like drinking water, was to put a little bit of beef broth, that's hard to say,
Yeah.
beef broth or chicken broth in the
Yeah.
water to kind of make it a little bit more appetizing. So I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, and then put ice cubes in too because they love ice cubes.
Yes, we do that all summer long. Every water dish has big old ice cubes in it. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are just a few things. And then, of course, if you find that your dog has problems where you think they're dehydrated because maybe their mucus, their lips and everything are kind of mucusy or their eyes are kind of goopy, or if you take their skin and it doesn't just come right back down and just go back into normal position, that could
Right.
be a...
That they're dehydrated.
Exactly, so take them to the vet, right?
Right, exactly. So good things to remember, and like I said, things that you don't really think about every day,
Yeah.
just something that you totally take for granted. So next time you're filling up those water dishes, hopefully you'll think about our show today.
Exactly. Well, we'll be right back.
Please take me to Dog Days. Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web, please.
Well, we're back, and now it's time for the cats, but we thought we'd do a little test with our little friend here, and Cammie passed the test very well.
This is Oliver, and we got Oliver out of his crate, and she was like, "Don't hurt me, cat. Please don't hurt me." So I would say, and we can always do a much more thorough cat test.
Yes.
But if you're watching the show today and you're interested in Cammie and you have a cat at home,
This
you know what?
would be a
She
perfect
just
dog
might
for
be
you.
the perfect dog for you. Yeah. And Oliver, of course, after last week's fiasco, I felt so bad with a hunter who didn't like dogs, and we brought him to dog days. So we were very careful today in picking out the right cat to bring. And Oliver does like dogs, obviously. He could have cared less about Cammie, checking him out. And he's young, about 2 or 3 years old, and just like Cammie, came in as a stray.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of background information about him, but he is a super mellow, chilled out cat. And that's what they say about these orange male tabbies.
Well, I noticed
So-
that Oliver was very, very comfortable. I mean, didn't even react whatsoever to Cammie,
just gonna lay there?
and just said kind of like, "Hey, everything's okay."
Yeah, exactly. So I would have to assume that this is kind of how he is in any environment.
Yes.
So, I mean, I would say if you had young kids or anything like that, Mr. Oliver, where you going, buddy? Could probably go home with anybody. So, what a cool cat. And as always, he is just one of the over 200 cats that we have at the shelter right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they probably want us to talk about a few events, right?
yes, we do have a couple events coming up this weekend. Where you going, Booger? One is our Canine Cancer Walk. We're not putting it on, but it's Pause for Hope Now, which is put on by the Sierra Nevada Botroff Canine Cancer Foundation. So
Okay.
basically it's to raise money for canine cancer.
Yeah.
Last year Jean Katie was there and did a little speech and everything. So it's at Forest Park this Saturday, which is October 1st. They'll be doing a little walk. So
Okay.
of course it's dog friendly. Bring your dogs out there, obviously. And of course we'll be there with some of our adoptable dogs. And like I said, all the proceeds to that go toward canine research or canine cancer research.
Okay, and it starts at 9 o'clock?
Yep, and it starts at 9, or actually registration starts at 9. So if
Okay.
you do want to take your dog and register, be there at 9, and then the walk starts at 10.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I think Patty Spickler was going to be there too, right?
Patty Spittler's going to be there, and I know I think they've got a silent auction that they do every year for that event. So, and
Okay.
hopefully this year it won't get rained out like it did last year. So.
Yeah, let's hope that's the
Yeah.
case.
So that's the Canine Cancer Walk on Saturday at Forest Park. And then on Sunday, we will be at Noah's Caring Hands, which is, of course, a vet clinic over on Sunnyside Road in Indianapolis.
Okay.
That's an all-day event from 1 to 5. They're going to be doing, it's kind of like an open house. So they'll be showing potential new clients around.
Okay.
And then they'll be selling some T-shirts with a portion of the proceeds going to the shelter. And we will have adoptable dogs and cats out there on Sunday. So that's
Cool.
Sunday, October 2nd at Noah's on Sunnyside Road in Indianapolis. And these are up on our website too. And they'll, if they're not already, they will be up on our Facebook page. So,
Good.
so check us out this weekend.
So we got a lot of things happening just as
Lot-
usual.
Right. There is never a dull moment at the Humane Society.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got one more segment left, so stay tuned.
These guys match too, I'm just saying.
Please take me to dog days. Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web, please.
Well, it's time for Where Are They Now? And Mandy, as we thought Oliver and Cammie would be good just to stay tuned here right here,
Yeah.
because they're going to be adopted next week.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be on this segment as being adopted for sure.
So how did we do?
We did good. We had a couple adoptions. We opened our new satellite adoption center
Yes.
over at the Hamilton
Yes.
Shopping Center. And 2 of the dogs that went there on Saturday, Vinny,
Okay.
who we had on last week, and Macy, she was on last week too.
Also,
So
yes.
2 out of the 3 that were on last week got adopted from our Hamilton
Cool.
Shopping Center store.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, so they are both, they were picked up yesterday and off to their new home. So we are excited about that. And then Oink, You guys had on, I think, one of the days that I was gone.
Right, yeah.
And he finally got adopted.
Yeah.
So a cute little kitten.
Yeah, cool.
So he got adopted as well.
Well, now we have to go through that long list of
know.
dogs that have not got adopted yet that we surely need to find some homes for really
Yes.
fast, and some of the kitties.
Yes, and we'll start with Kimura.
Yes.
We had her on last week, and don't forget, she has heartworm disease. So
Right.
we really got to get her either a foster home or a forever home where we can get that treatment started.
And then we have Sylvia, and you had Sylvia for a while, right?
Right, we had Sylvia for about a week at our house while she was getting over her kennel cough.
Right.
And I have to say, I mean, of course, I'm a coon dog lover, I know, but I'm partial. But beyond that, she really is a great dog. She's totally house trained. She's good with other dogs her size. She's not fond of cats and not fond of little dogs.
Okay.
But she is great. She would sleep on our couch, just hang out, great with her food. She's excellent with
Okay.
children. I mean, children can just romp and play with her, and she's got no issues with that. So.
And then
awesome.
we have Flanagan, of course,
Oh,
another.
Mr. Flanagan. He's another talker, you
He's
know.
the vocal one.
Yeah, he is vocal, but you know what? That's true to his breed. So
Yeah.
and we've really got to get him out of there. He is not handling the shelter environment well at all.
Yeah.
So.
And then we've got Teddy. Now, Teddy, again, was our Pomeranian, which I can't believe.
He's still there.
He's still there.
Yeah.
A little black Pomeranian.
Don't ask me, because usually they go like hotcakes. So, but
Yeah.
yep, he was still there this morning.
And then we have Brady.
Yep, and Brady was the one that we had on a couple of weeks ago, who wasn't feeling good that day that we
Yeah.
had him on. But let me tell you, he's feeling much better now.
Good.
We had him at our event, on one of the events on Saturday, and wow, he was feeling he was feeling good. So
Okay.
he's all better, all fixed up and ready to go.
And then we have Timmy.
Timmy and
Still
Cashmere
there?
both are here at Dog
Okay.
Days. So if you're interested in either one of them, you can stop by Dog Days. You can call the shelter, and we can arrange for an appointment for you guys to come here and see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we got some long timers coming up. Star.
Yeah, Star and Conlin and Pearl and Pacer. We'll just lump them into the same one. Star was our deaf pity that we
Yes.
have. And then, of course, Pacer, the long timer. Conlin is still looking for a home as well. And, of course, our girl Pearl.
Pearl. Yeah, we're
Yep.
gonna find her a home.
Yes.
Pearl is a good dog.
Yes.
Just needs a special home.
Right. And Molly as well.
Yes.
And she is a great girl, and she just keeps getting overlooked. She gets along great with everybody, kids, dogs, I mean, you name it. She's just a sweet, sweet girl.
Yeah.
So,
And then we've got some of our kitties.
yeah, Ben, of course, is still there. Captain Tyler is still there as
Okay.
well. Several cats are still there. Actually, all of them except for Oink. Kong, and then last week we had Hunter on.
And then we had Teddy the cat also.
Teddy the cat. And
Yeah,
Teddy,
still there.
yeah, that's right. And Teddy is still there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So we've got plenty of
got a big-
dogs and cats.
Right. We've got a chore for you guys out there. So come on. Come
Yes.
in and adopt these guys. What are you waiting on?
Yeah. These two especially. I mean, these two could go together
look at this.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, there were just some guests in here picking up their dog, and Oliver's just sitting there like, oh, it's okay, I don't mind all the commotion.
Yep.
And
Tammy is
Tammy's
same.
just, yeah, she's attached to Dennis's feet right now. So two great animals, and these are just two, like I said, out of the over 350 that are at the shelter. So come
Yeah.
and see us.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the show and got a few tips out of water and all that kind of good stuff.
So we'll be back next week.
Yes.